Imagine walking deep into the woods, miles from civilization, and spotting a modern smartphone half buried in the leaves. You wouldn't assume the wind and rain randomly fused silicon and glass together over millions of years. You immediately know someone made it because its parts are precisely arranged for a purpose. This everyday instinct is the bedrock of the teleological argument. The name comes from the Greek word telos, meaning end, goal, or purpose. It is the oldest case for a designed universe in human history. The philosopher Aristotle observed that nature is shot through with goal-directed behavior, like an acorn reliably growing into an oak tree. In the 13th century, Thomas Aquinas took this further. He pointed out that unintelligent objects don't move towards specific targets on their own. Just as an arrow requires a skilled archer to hit a bullseye, natural processes require an intelligent mind directing them. 5 centuries later, William Paley crystallized this with his famous Watchmaker Analogy. If you stumble upon a stone, you might assume it had lain there forever. But if you find a pocket watch, the intricate gears and springs, all working together to tell time, demand a conscious maker. Our intuition easily links a watch to a watchmaker. But what happens when we test that exact same logic against 21st century science? When we strip away our assumptions, does the universe resemble a random stone or an engineered watch? To answer that, we have to look past the human scale, down into the microscopic machinery of a living cell. This diagram shows a bacterial flagellum. Biochemist Michael Behe describes this structure as a literal rotary motor built from 40 distinct protein parts, including a stator, rotor, and driveshaft. Behe calls this irreducible complexity. The logic here is straightforward. A system like this requires all its components to function simultaneously. If you remove even one piece, like the driveshaft, the motor doesn't spin a little slower. It breaks entirely. This makes it incredibly difficult to explain through slow, undirected step-by-step modifications. The picture gets sharper when we examine the instructions that build these biological machines. Theorists like Meyer and William Dembski highlight what they term specified complexity inside our DNA. The genetic code functions as literal digital information. Its 4-letter chemical sequence dictates protein assembly, operating exactly like binary code in a computer. As Bill Gates observed, DNA is like a computer program, but far, far more advanced than any software ever created. In our entire history of observation, functional sequence-specific code always originates from a conscious mind. The presence of this digital information at the foundation of life points rationally to an intelligent programmer. We see the exact same precision when we zoom out to the scale of astrophysics and cosmology. This dashboard represents the fundamental physical constants of the universe, generated during the Big Bang. Physicists have discovered that these numbers are balanced on a razor-thin Goldilocks edge, perfectly permitting the existence of stars, planets, and life. Take the strong nuclear force, which binds atoms together. If you tweak its strength by just 2%, the periodic table collapses. Hydrogen wouldn't fuse properly, leaving a universe with no heavy elements and no water. The required precision only gets tighter. The cosmological constant, which governs the expansion of space, must be accurate to about 120 decimal places. The initial entropy of the universe requires an accuracy so extreme that there are more zeros in the probability calculation than there are subatomic particles in the observable universe. A common response to this is the anthropic principle, the idea that we shouldn't be surprised to observe a life-permitting universe, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be here to observe it. Philosopher Robin Collins counters this with a firing squad analogy. Imagine 50 trained marksmen fire at you from close range, and every single bullet misses. You wouldn't dismiss your survival by saying, well, if they hadn't missed, I wouldn't be here to notice. You would logically conclude the marksmen were instructed to miss. The specific parameters of our universe strongly suggest the setup was rigged on purpose. When we assemble the microscopic data alongside the cosmological physics, modern proponents are using inference to the best explanation. It is the exact same deductive method used by detectives solving a case, cryptographers breaking a code, or astronomers scanning for extraterrestrial signals. The mathematical improbabilities are so stark that even staunchly atheist and agnostic scientists frequently adopt the language of design when describing reality. After studying the physics required to form carbon, Astronomer Fred Hoyle concluded that a super-intellect has monkeyed with physics. Physicist Paul Davies similarly admitted that the universe looks suspiciously like a fix. We can ground all of these massive concepts back in our own daily experience. Whether you're looking at the digital code inside your cells, the finely tuned stars above, or the biological machinery of your own eye used to perceive it all, your instinctual sense of awe is completely justified. Whichever side you ultimately land on, the undeniable precision of reality means the universe itself is asking us who engineered it.